Hi everyone, how are you today? Fantastic. Would you like to hear a joke? All right. Knock knock. Philip. Fill up my bag with Halloween candy. Would you like another holiday-based joke? Okay. How about this one? Knock knock. Value. Value be my Valentine? Okay. Enough of the jokes. I hear you. Let's do all of these glued sounds. Are you ready? Here we go. I-N-K, pink ink. U-N-K, junk unk. O-N-K, honk onk. A-N-K, bank ink. O-N-G, song ong. U-N-G, lung ung. I-N-G, ring ing. Ah, one flew away. He's flying back. It's the vampire bat. A-N-G, fang ang. And come on over to the standard card. I want to remind you about my good friends B and D. Remember, it's about our mouth and the sound we're making. When we do the B, we draw the lips and we see the lips first. So we put our lips together to say B. Do that with me. B. Do you feel how your lips are together? So when you're reading and writing, think of this line as the lip line. B. And then our good friend D, the lip doesn't come first. The drum. D -d 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 -d. See, our lips aren't together. The big drum comes first. So really cue into what comes first to help you if you're having trouble with B and D. B, B, D, D. And then this one, what does it say, everybody? Eh. Remember ed. E, ed, eh. I, itch, I. O, octopus, ah. U, up, V, v. Y, y. S, snake, s. S, bugs, z. C, K, k. A-N-G, fang, ang. I-N-G, ring, ing. Okay, and we are going to stop there and come on over for a new trick word. You ready for this? Great. Okay, so as you see, I have my uppercase and my uppercase frame here and my stop sign at the end, either a period, an exclamation mark, or a question mark. Okay, here's my first sentence. It is not very hot. Let's count the words. It is not very hot. 5 words. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'm gonna go with an exclamation point because I'm saying it's not very hot. I'm saying it excitedly. So I'll need my uppercase I. It is not very hot. And I'll do my exclamation point. Okay, now I'm going to circle this word. Oh, well, that marker's no good. Let's try that again. I'm going to circle that word. And let's see if you can figure out what it is. Listen to me read. It is not very hot. What word is this? Very. That's right. This word says very. Okay. Now, let me add it up here. The V is not tricky. It sounds like a V. Ah. It sounds like an A next, but it's an E. There, E. And then the Y sounds like an E. So these parts aren't tricky, but these two parts are. Those are the parts our brains have to really work on remembering. Very. Okay. I am going to change something up. Are you ready for this next sentence? Repeat after me. I would also like cake. I would also like cake. It's 5 words again. And this time, the trick word is going to be right here. See if you can read it while I put the words in. I would also like cake. What word is this? I would also like cake. Yeah, our next trick word is also. Let's look at that word really closely. Which parts are tricky? All. So, all, it's kind of like we know ALL says all, but there's only one L. And then O, the O says its name. So there's a few different parts that are kind of tricky, but it's actually not too tricky. We can kind of tap it out. The O not saying ah is tricky, but it says its name, so not too bad. All right, so everyone, what did this one say? Very. And our next one, also. Okay. And let's go ahead and change out just a couple words. So we're still going to leave the cake, but this time I'm going to just change one little thing and circle this word. Okay, watch me read it and see if you can figure out the circle trick word. I too would like cake. What's this one? 2. Now, look closely at this 2. What do you notice? It's got 2 O's, so the T isn't tricky, but the O you have to learn says ooh. So that's a little bit tricky for now. Now, this kind of 2 means like, me too. I too would like cake. Whereas last week we learned the number 2, TWO. So it's important that you remember which 2 is which. Okay, let's read these. 2, also, very. And let's skywrite them. Let's start with very. 2 fingers, straight arm, picture pink shooting out of your fingers. And let's spell it together. Here we go. V-E-R-Y. Very. Take your finger and close your eyes and picture it as you write it. V-E-R-Y. Very. And what does this one say? Me too. Let's write 2. T-O-O. 2. And with your finger. T-O-O. 2. Okay, our last trick word for today. Also. 2 fingers, straight arm. Here we go. A-L-S-O. Also. And on our desktop. A-L-S-O. Who remembers what we do after we skywrite our trick words? Where do we always put them? That's right, we add them in our student notebooks so that when we're writing, we can look them up if we forget how to spell them, since they have some tricky parts to them. So if you're using this notebook, the trick words are in the back and look like this. And let's start by doing very. What letter does very start with? Good, so flip until you find the V's. Very. And when you find the letter V, you can go ahead and enter it. V-E-R-Y. Very, right there. Pause on the screen here until you have this entered. Okay, now let's flip back to find the T. Oh, look at that, it's on the same page if you're using this notebook. So we did this 2 already, and we did 2 like the number 2. Now we need to do T-O-O, which we just learned means me too. So you should have very and 2. Pause until you have those done. And what was the last one that we learned today? Also. So go back to the A, also, and do also. A-L-S-O, also. Pause right here until you have these entered. Remember, when you're at home writing, you can look any words up you need in here. When you're at school writing, when you're on tests, use it because every time you write it the right way, it starts to build memory in your brain. Okay. Now we are going to get out our whiteboards and our dry erase markers and do a little writing. Okay. Let's go ahead and number it 1, 2, 3, and we'll do 3 words. Okay, here's your first word. Sings. The turtle sings all day. Is there a suffix on the sings? So what's the base word? Sing. Let's tap out sing. Ing. Go ahead, write sing, and then make it say sings. Okay, when you're ready, if you need more time, pause, but if you're ready, put a box around the glued sound. And what else should we mark? That's right, it's my favorite dance. Underline the base word, circle the suffix. And then check it with mine. S-I-N-G, suffix S, sings. Fix up any mistakes. And then let's go down to number 2. Your next word is honks. He honks his horn. Is there a suffix? What's the base word? Honk. Let's tap it. Onk. Let's spell it. H and then onk. Think about the vowel and the ending. Go ahead and write it. Honk. Honks. Pause if you need more time. And let's box the glued sound. Underline the base word and circle the suffix. Fantastic. Let's read our words. Sing, sings. Honk, honks. And we'll do one more. Your next word is chunks. What's the base word? Chunk. Let's tap out chunk. Unk. Spell it out loud and then write it. C-H. Okay, when you're ready, underline the digraph. You should have a digraph, box in the glued sound, and then underline the base word, circle the suffix. Here we go. Chunk, chunks. Practice reading those 3 words. Okay, and then let's go ahead and erase. My turtle's going to erase. And we will end with one sentence today. Repeat after me. Bob has very bad lungs. Let's count the words. Bob has very bad lungs. 5 words. So I am going to write lines. Bob, space, has, very, space, bad, space, lungs, period. Bob, you can tap out. Has is a trick word. Very is a trick word. Bad and lungs you can tap out. Pay attention to how you make your B and D in bad. Okay, go ahead and pause until you do your sentence. Okay, if you're back, you must be done. Point to each word as I read it. Bob has very bad lungs. Did you start with an uppercase and end with a period? Okay, now check your 2 trick words, has and very. Pause here and look it up in your notebook if you don't know if you're right. Okay, now check them to me. Has, H-A-S, very, V-E-R-Y. Okay, check Bob. Check that the B has the B, the line first. Check bad. Check your B and your D. And then check lungs. Check that it says lung, lungs. and then look at mine and fix any mistakes and scoop